On the show today, South Africa's economy grows 1.4% in Q4 2018, but falls 0.8% on an annualized basis. Zimbabwe's central bank borrows $985 million from African banks, plus Libya says biggest oil field to resume pumping as threats recede. Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live on Channels Television. I'm Imana Amawe. Well, let's begin in South Africa. As the economy grew in the fourth quarter of last year, helped by the growth in agriculture and manufacturing, as a boost for President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has pledged to restart growth after a decade of stagnation. Statistics South Africa says the economy grew 1.4% in October to December, after expanding by a revised 2.6% in the third quarter, and farming expanded 7.9% in the quarter, while manufacturing rose 4.5%. However, mining fell by 3.8%. The growth slightly lagged market expectations as a quarter-on-quarter GDP expansion fell to 1.6%. And on an annual basis, Africa's most industrialized economy grew by 0.8% compared to a revised 1.4% expansion the previous year. The rand extended its session gains after the data, trading 0.51% firmer at 14.1275 per dollar in early trade. And meanwhile, in the equities market, the South African JSE index was down after the GDP numbers were released, as at intraday, the JSE index was down 0.35%. The NSE index was up 0.13%, while Egypt came down 0.39%. Meanwhile, bearish sentiments dominated the Middle Eastern markets, with Abu Dhabi at 0.28% at intraday. The Dubai FM also softened at 0.25% at intraday, and Qatar as well as Saudi SE were also negative at 1.07% and 0.185% respectively as at intraday. The stocks in Europe, however, hovered around the flat line in early morning trade as investors monitored various political developments across the globe. There is also some corporate news driving those sentiments. Let's talk to Ulrich. Hello, Ulrich. There's been an unexpected development in Tokyo today. Former Renault-Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn, accused of underreporting his salary and also transferring the private losses to company books, could be released from jail on bail after about 3 months in confinement. The prosecutors have appealed that decision. But what do people where you are make of this?
It's a surprising development for everyone concerned, because it was assumed that the Japanese authorities, the Japanese court, would remain adamant on keeping Carlos Ghosn in. The prosecutors are still saying that. It will turn out who's right and who has the end stroke in the end, the court or the prosecutors. But this is an interesting development because it means that Carlos Ghosn will be set free, but the conditions will be that he will be monitored very closely. His lawyer gave an indication that there would be video surveillance and supervision involved along with that, and he's not to leave the country. And it's a huge bail sum that he has to post, $9 billion in order to get free. It still doesn't mean that the court case is in any way moving closer. It could be still a long while until he is able to make his case in court officially. I think for the company and for him, the situation is now improved. For the companies, Renault, Mitsubishi, and Nissan, it's not necessarily a step forward. They're still battling it out over who's going to be on top in that former three-way alliance, an alliance that is crumbling together now.
Okay, still with the automakers, but this time at the Geneva Auto Salon, where the spotlight is on cars, both electric and conventional. But also there's one which is the next large IPO in European markets, that's Traton. That's the Volkswagen Group's new truck unit. Why is Volkswagen taking that part of its business public, and what would it mean for investors?
I think part of the answer lies in just what exactly is happening in Geneva. All eyes on self-driving cars and e-mobility. And Volkswagen needs money and it needs its resources in order to concentrate on that and bring itself forward and get ahead of the competition if at all possible. And Traton, the truck unit, well, it doesn't really fit in with the other divisions. They all have to do with personal mobility, and trucks and buses are a different matter. And now is a good time to take this unit public, VW thinks. And sure, the stock markets are not where they were before the decline set in late last year, but they're still in pretty good shape. The economy declining, but not tanking, no recession here in sight. So it seems like a good time to sell shares in a unit like this. Gleaning from remarks the CFO, Frank Witter, made at the Geneva Auto Show, it could come even before Easter rolls around. And it would bring about 6 billion euros, if the numbers are correct that we're hearing, into the coffers of VW. 6 billion euros for a quarter of the shares of this truck unit.
All right, just before I let you go, Ulrich, the PMI figures are out today for the month of February. What can we glean from that, and how have the markets reacted to those figures?
The geopolitical influences are making themselves felt, and also the decline in the economy that's setting in, and also the uncertain mood which is affecting investment and which is affecting spending. The PMI in Britain went down slightly. The pound reacted by going down slightly. Here, the Brexit is certainly making itself felt. And in the Eurozone, the PMI went up. Not that great. People are speaking of a lackluster picture. And what's worrying is when you look at the composition of this purchasing managers index, the services part in the Eurozone is responsible for it going up. But in the industry, things were not looking good. A decline there, the first in 5 years. And this bears noting and of course, following for next month's result. But it gives a picture of what the mood in industry is like at the moment, with Brexit, with trade, with open interest rate questions in the United States, for example, weighing heavily on people.
All right, thank you very much, Ulrich. There for us at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange.